Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon, Aaron Smith. How are you today, sir?
Excellent, Jason Thomas. Doing well. I'm excited about my new backdrop here.
Yes.
At the International Bowling Campus. I got Chris Schenkel and Bo Burton cut off right behind me here.
I can confirm that that's who that is, for sure.
But definitely excited for another edition of the PWBA Podcast. I can't explain how excited I am for this show. Tish Johnson, just an absolute legend. 25 career titles, USBC and PWBA Hall of Fame, Mega Buck champion, the first woman to do that as well. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun over the course of the next hour and change. And what do you say we get things started?
Yeah, we should. I mean, we could have done a whole show before the show with Tish. She was telling us some great stories before we went on the air. So looking forward to talking to her as well. And she's a true legend in the sport of bowling, for sure.
All right, with that, let's bring her in. Tish.
Well, hi, guys. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Jason.
Hi, how are you?
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to pretend like we didn't talk for a half hour before the show started and say I'm doing great. But yeah, it is. There's definitely some weird stuff going on in the world for sure. How have you been?
Well, we just got our shops open July 11th. It's pretty slow. It's a different world. I mean, we have one shop or a bowling center that opens at 3 PM, and the place used to be like kids coming in after school or whatever. Now there's like hardly anybody in the bowling center. So it's weird. I'm hoping when the leagues start up that it's going to get a little bit better. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, no, you can go ahead, JT.
I was just going to ask about your own personal bowling. Have you had a chance to get out and throw the ball lately?
Tomorrow night will be the first time I've thrown a ball since March 17th.
Wow.
So I've already, and I'm going to blame it on that I haven't bowled. So if I shoot 450, oh well. So.
I seriously doubt that's going to happen, but
yeah, we expect that after 2. So just to let you know.
Well, let's hope. Okay, let's hope.
I would say 1.5.
Yeah.
Now
we'll see.
Go ahead, Tish.
My approach might be a little weird for the first maybe 15, 20 minutes, but we'll see how it goes after that.
My guess is 3 pieces of tape, and you'll be averaging 250 before too long.
Well, good. I'm going to throw the new stuff that Storm came out with tomorrow night, so we'll see what happens.
Excellent. Now you mentioned it may take a few shots to get your feet underneath you since it's been since March, but so many folks, when we have you on live streams, when we post videos of you, just compliment how smooth, how effortless your bowling style is. So, for the folks at home, like, how did you get your start in bowling, and kind of how did you develop your style that has just become so iconic in the game?
Well, my parents both bowled. My mom worked. That was her second job, worked in a bowling center. So that's how I started. I mean, I started when I was 2, and it just went from there. I saw Earl Anthony on TV when I was 8. I happened to be bowling junior league in the morning, and they had the TV on in the corner, and I was watching, and he was left-handed, and I go, "Dad, look." And I said, that's what I wanted to be. So I knew by the time I was 8 that I wanted to be a pro bowler. So it was just from that time on of just practicing, and how do I say it? It's like less effort. I try to make it as simple as possible so that if something does go wrong, I can try to fix it. Everybody's timing goes out here and there. So I try to make it as simple as possible. And so I always liked how Earl Anthony was so smooth, and Mike Albee and Steve Cook, as big as he was, going, my God, that guy's really smooth. When I met him the first time in Sacramento, I lived in Napa. So, I mean, it was just like, wow. And so that's how I developed it. Just kept practicing, and we didn't have many lefties in my town. I grew up in a very small town, so we only had 2 bowling centers in the whole town, and then one closed down, and so then we only had 1. So I would watch right-handers and pick stuff that I liked of theirs and tried it, and if I didn't, I threw it out. And watched a lot of videos of Parker and Earl Anthony and Steve Cook and, and just started picking it apart. And that's how I got my style.
Yeah,
Plus, I had a bowling ball that was drilled for right-hander instead of a left-hander.
Do you still have that? Is that still incorporated in your fit?
Actually, my pitches are almost the same, but I think my mom has it. My bowling ball from,
Okay, well, you have to get it and put it in your trophy room when you finish that up. I know it's a giant addition on your house, right?
It's gonna. I'm trying to figure out where to put everything. So yeah.
Now, I know you played a lot of other sports growing up, and you were a big star in basketball. And I don't know if a lot of people know that about you, but just talk a little bit about your basketball career, and then how did that influence your bowling?
Well, I did sport. I was the second oldest, so my brother got to do everything. My brother got to go to basketball camps, and he got to do this. He was, my dad's son. So I picked sports to try to get my dad's attention. So, my brother was a really good basketball player. So then I played basketball, and then I got better and better. So that's my challenges were always that way. It's like that I was always trying to get approval from my dad. So then it was like my brother played baseball. So then I played softball. Then I became really good at that. Then basketball. He was really good at basketball. So I wanted to become good at that. So I incorporate in everything I do. I try to do the best that I can every time that I do whatever I'm doing. And I still do that today.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. You were all-state in basketball, and you also won the Alberta E. Crow Award. So you were like all everything in at least two sports that I'm aware of.
Well, I did track. I played softball. I did tennis. I did badminton. I did volleyball. I played all sports during school, and I was really good at all of them. Yeah. I'd always put it to wherever I was doing. I wanted to be the best that I could be. So if we had volleyball, I practiced the whole season on volleyball. And then basketball, same thing. I practiced as soon as basketball season started. When I got in trouble at school, the principal didn't send me to detention because he goes, "You'll not do anything." So he sends me to the gym and says, "Do 100 free throws." So when I got in trouble at school, they sent me to the gym. So it was because they knew that I wouldn't do homework in detention. I would just get in more trouble. So my principal's name was Mr. Humpert. So he go, "Tish, just go to the gym and shoot 100 free throws." So that's what I did.
Now that sounds like an effective thing for coaches on the bowling side when their students act up. Go shoot 110 pins. Go shoot 107 pins.
Yeah.
There you go.
You won't be missing them anytime.
I think my whole career during high school, I think I was 98% free throw shooter.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I had a lot of practice.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. But you still get out there and shoot free throws every now and then?
No. Last time I tried to play basketball, I hurt my knee and had surgery again. So I said no.
Yeah.
Because I just can't do something half-ass. I got to do it all the way. So it's just not the way it works for me. So, if I want to continue to bowl, so that's how I do it. I said, nope, no more basketball.
Yeah.
I play golf.
Okay. It sounds like though when you were growing up, bowling was your favorite sport, right? It seems like that was the one you really wanted to do out of all of them. And I know you had some knee issues with your basketball. And was it the fact that you wanted to pursue bowling that made you kind of, that decision to be, pursuing bowling? Is that when that happened?
Yeah. But they when they went in there, they said that they might have to take my knee out. So it was like, I go, you can't do that. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to get an education first, and then I was going to turn pro after that. But then when I got hurt, my mom and I and my dad sat down, and I said, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now. And then there was a couple times that I tried to take online school, and I was doing that for a while, but then it got really tough with I opened up my pro shop in LA in 86. So it was really hard after that, trying to bowl, run a pro shop, do that kind of stuff. So then I just stopped doing this online schooling and just dedicated it to my bowling.
Gotcha. And obviously, with as successful as you were at bowling, I'm sure that made it easy to put other things off, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Except for I should have been a smart one and lived at my parents' house, because I was gone so much. As soon as I went out and won in Miami, I came home and I moved to LA. I go, what a dum-dum. You think about it now going, God, 25 years, I could have lived at my mom's house, not paid rent. And I would have, I'd be living hog on the,
Yeah.
But no, I had to move to LA, the most expensive place in the world. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about that start. 1982 Miami Open, that first victory for you that kind of started the road to 25 titles. What were some of your favorite memories from that particular win? Obviously, winning is a cool thing, but what were some of the cool behind the scenes moments from that first victory that you liked?
Well, I was in a motorhome 3 months before I was supposed to go out. Was having a problem with the person that I was supposed to be rooming with. I won't go into details with that. But so a friend of mine was going out on tour, and so we rented a motorhome, and we get to the parking lot, John Falzone and Bill Vent, and they're all in the motorhome. So we're out there drinking and having a good time. And so, I bowled really good, and we got to they didn't have TV. So the first week I won my first title with no TV. And then the next week we went to Clearwater and they had TV. So the first week I beat Nikki G. And then the next week we have TV and Nikki beat me. I was leading both of them and Nikki ended up beating me on TV. So, we had a good time. It's, then I started traveling around in a motorhome. I tried to a couple times stay in a hotel, but that just didn't work. So I just bought a motorhome and that's what I traveled in. Loved it. Had barbecues out. Carol Norman had one. Carolyn Dorn had one. Anne Marie had one. We had like 9 motorhomes. So we put them all together and make like a little compound and have barbecues and, play catch and do a bunch of stuff. Dell would be his normal self. And I could tell you a story, but I think he would hate me if I told you. So
we can imagine.
It seems like a lot of the Dell stories end up that way. So.
Pretty much.
So what was it like out there, those first several years? Obviously you had success very, very early. Did you have, expectations? Did you meet your expectations? At what point did you feel like, you were, it seems like you integrated pretty early on and felt like you were at home, but,
well, I did, when I went out on tour, most of the pro bowlers I knew already. I bowled against them in the WWPB, we bowled against each other in juniors. So to me, it was just like, it was like home. Knew everybody. It wasn't like, some of the youngsters when I was a veteran, some of the youngsters were like scared to come out there. And it was like, they're going, oh gosh, oh no. But to me, it was just like home. It was just, like bowling league with my friends. So I think it was a lot easier for me than a lot of other people.
Gotcha. Now, was it, do you think, I know since I've worked on the PBA side and I've worked on the PWBA side, and I know that I know this isn't going to come as a surprise to anybody, but men and women are quite a bit different than one another. Do you think, for the most part, women are a little bit more apprehensive about, putting their foot in dipping their toe in the water, maybe because they're afraid of, going butting heads against somebody like you or some of the other stars that were out there on tour and are out there today?
You know what? I think it's a new generation. These kids, young ladies, I should say, athletes, they have a routine. They work out, they, eat properly. They, they have a routine that they go through. We didn't have that. I mean, there were some of us that worked out and, or whatever, but they, they have a routine. And I think that's because of college. I think, I don't think the girls are scared of, of us, because it's the new generation. I mean, we didn't have bowling for 15 years, so a lot of them don't know who we are. They don't know the Donna Adamick or the Pat Costello or, Nikki G or, Leila Wagner, Alita Sill. A lot of them don't know them because we had that period of time that we missed, that they missed too. So I think it's just, I don't think they're scared of us, which they shouldn't. College is a lot bigger. Bowling is a lot bigger in college. They learn a lot more in college, I think, now than when I was growing up. I mean, we didn't have the technology, just like the computers. We didn't have the technology that they have now. You have Spectro and you have all these other devices and, find how accurate you are and your ball speed, your rotation, your tilt. We used to, find your positive axis point, but God, now the technology is just 10 times more.
Right.
So I don't think they're as scared.
Gotcha. Now, we just did a 20 greatest seasons feature on you. We talked about your 1992 season, but I was kind of curious, when I was working on that, it seemed like, and from the articles I read and, and talking to you in the past, that it was very important at that point in your career to be a player of the year. So was that something that you set as a goal? I mean, you had 14 titles going into that season, so you'd had a lot of success, but was that kind of something that you'd wanted to tick off on your list of accomplishments?
Well, yeah. I mean, I still have a goal that I want. The only thing that I don't have is Queens. So, I mean, that's shit. I might be the oldest one to win a Queens. So, I mean, it's like, I just try to keep going. And what my goal when I first started was to be the best. I wanted when I retired that people would know who I am, that I have done everything I possibly could for bowling to give back. Mel and I do a lot with the kids. We give them discount. We do a lot for the kids. I've got a couple of kids that I taught in high school bowling. They are now going to bowl in college. So, I mean, I try to give back as much as I can. I just want to make sure that when I retire, that people know who I am.
Absolutely.
So
now, since JT brought up the 92 season, I know kind of one of the big wins was the U.S. Women's Open that year. And in looking at some of the articles, kind of recapping that, I know that tournament was special, especially because of what happened in 1990, losing by a pin to Dana. So just talk about, kind of being in that situation again after coming so close a few years before, leading the field by a ton, to eventually fall one pin short, to being able to get that win against Alita, another extremely talented player. Just what did that win mean to you?
Well, number one, yes, I led the U.S. Open quite a few times and lost on TV. I lost by a pin to Dana, and I left a stone 9 to lose. If you go back and look at it, I still remember. Then I threw a book on against Alita to win. So, the cards always seem to play out. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. The best part of winning that was that my mom was there. It happened to be in California, my home. I grew up most of my life there until I moved. But she had breast cancer, and I didn't know if she was going to be there. And she told me she couldn't be there. And 10 minutes before the show started, my parents and my brother walked in, and it was pretty emotional. And then to have her see me win a major, my parents always came as much as they could, but they were working, and I still had 3 little people, my brother and my 2 brothers and my sister, that they had to take care of. So they tried to show up as much as they could. And that was really an awesome win. So.
Yeah, I think people, you have, like, we're getting these comments on the screen. I'll just show a few, but just like look at that. I mean, people just saying, and you kind of see that wherever you go, and your personality was really interesting because I think people saw you as like this very intense, tough player, but you also had moments of where you got extremely emotional, and sometimes it was like a family thing, sometimes it was just like the realization of a dream in a lot of cases, and then sometimes it was just just pain. I mean, I know with the senior queens, that was a very, very painful thing to have to keep leading it and lose. And you mentioned a few of those U.S. Open losses that you had to deal with. But, what was it about you that allowed you to kind of be, open on camera about, just letting your emotions all hang out?
That's strange because Jock, one of the camera guys or whatever, they tried to do a commercial a couple times. And they go, Tish, and I go, I can't do it on... I said it happens when it happens, like me running out or slapping or taking a towel and buffing, somebody's bald head or,
like mine.
I mean, yeah, like you. TV was very hard for me at first because, as you notice, and Aaron knows, is I go and talk to him while he's doing his, his streaming, or I can't sit still. So to sit in a chair, I kept going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Oh, you can't say the F-bomb. You can't do this. You can't, try not to, it's like the first couple times on TV, it's like I felt like a robot. I said, this isn't me. So then I started being myself. And, a lot of people did say, that you're mean, you look mean, you look like you're going to kill somebody or whatever it may be. But it was like, I'm going to have fun. I paid enough fines in my lifetime. I could probably buy a new car with the fines that I had. Because as people know me, I'm going to tell it as it is. And if you don't like it, oh well. But, everybody has a right to their opinion. And if I didn't believe in something, I stood up for it. So that's me.
Now, you talked about getting, finding your identity on TV, getting more comfortable underneath the lights. And, one of the moments of your career I kind of wanted to pinpoint just because it's something I can tell you last time we saw it. During the 90s season, you won 3 consecutive weeks in a row. I mean, I wouldn't even know what the first question I asked to, obviously the type of, role you're on, just everything going your way. Just what was it like to actually experience that? And then, looking back on it now, just to be like, wow, no one beat me for 3 whole weeks. When does that ever happen? It's amazing.
Well, it doesn't. I always seem to bowl good when I'm at a bowling center that I enjoy the company. I enjoy the people. The staff is usually great. It just makes me feel like I'm at home. It was awesome when I won the first one. Then I led it again the second week, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I have a chance to win 2 in a row. And then when I led the third one, I'm going, oh boy, of course, then I look in history, something that nobody's ever done. You get to put your mark on it. You get to put your, it was amazing, and at that time I was on Columbia staff, and to win it, 3 weeks in a row, that was pretty good.
Absolutely. You mentioned, some favorite centers. What are some of the favorite centers you've been able to travel to over the years?
Oh, of course, Samstown. Yeah, I won a lot of money at Samstown. Not gambling wise, but bowling wise. Because I get so mad if I lose $5, so it's not good for my gambling. But now I'll gamble in bowling. I don't have a problem putting money in brackets. I like bowling in certain houses in California. One that I just, recently, Cloverleaf. it's not going to reopen, and that's very hard to hear. I know Steve Cook has a bowling center. I haven't really talked to him yet, and nothing's open in California. And, so, I mean, I liked bowling in Florida. I almost moved to Florida. I really liked Clearwater and Fort Pierce. The people there were nice. Myrtle Beach. My brother was getting married that weekend, and I was bowling. So I missed my brother's wedding. But I told him I'd win for him, and I did. So I thought that was pretty cool. I got to play golf every day while I was there. The owner was awesome. Got us tee off times, and so I got to play golf the whole time. I'm reading what Tennille's writing. Tennille. There's a lot of bowling centers. I mean, you got them 25 years. I mean, I missed one tournament. So, I mean, I probably was in every state at least twice in my career. Never really got to see a lot because I got to see the bowling center parking lot a lot, but that was about it. Some days I had a couple days off or whatever, and I would find a park to park at and go fishing or whatever. I'll tell you a story. I was in Arkansas. We were bowling in Arkansas, and I had a campground that we were at. And I'm fishing, and these little things, they look like snakes, They're water moccasins. I didn't know they were that fast. So I'm trying to catch one. Had a bowl pro-am that night, and they go, "What'd you do?" I said, "Oh, I was trying to catch these things that were, swimming all around." "Tish, they can kill you." I go, "Okay." So the rest of the week I was there, I didn't fish at all. But, never went close to the water, nothing.
It's interesting because you talk about all the different bowls. I mean, you probably cashed or made shows in just about every bowling center you bowled in at some point in your career. But I'm kind of interested to talk about the Lefty thing. So I know you had tournament. Well, I'm gonna do it in a very fair and tactful way because I have a lot of friends that were left-handed. But
Okay.
So I know there were tournaments that you dominated, and you were the only lefty that made the top 24 and you won. You had tournaments where 5 lefties made the show and you won, and then anything in between where you might have been one of 3 lefties in the top 24 and the only one on the show and you won that way. Did you ever think about that at all? I mean, was it a big deal? Would you rather win a tournament where you were the only lefty in the top 24, or did you care?
I didn't really care. I went out and I don't put my shoes on unless I think I can win. So I go out there, and every time I put my shoes on, I do the best I can because I want to win. I hate to lose. I think everybody does in some form or another. Usually give me 15 minutes afterwards and I'm fine, but I usually blow off steam or go in the paddock and throw something or whatever it may be. But I always wanted to bowl the best. And I think that every time I put my shoes on, that's what it was. I mean, I bowled Atlanta, Georgia, and I qualified 24th going into match play. I went from 24th to leading in 24 games. Because believe it or not, I had a bet with a guy in the bar. Remember Spuds McKenzie?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that was sitting up in the bar over the where the cash register was. And he goes, and I think I was like 54 pins out of the cut going in the last 6 games of qualifying. And so he goes, well, do you think well, I said, I'm sort of struggling, whatever. And he goes, and I go, but hey, I'll make you a deal. If I win, I get Spuds McKenzie. I have it sitting in my downstairs.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I always, you always try to put something to something. It's always, like Bowl of the Year, I wanted to push myself to be the best that I could be, to win as many tournaments as I could. Every year, it's, you set new goals. with the way the new oil patterns are and that kind of stuff. I was struggling the last couple of years being out on tour. It's fresh. The girls do that because that's what they get taught in college. So I've had to adjust, and this year I really said that I was going to really concentrate and practice more. And, it's not that I don't have the ability, because I do, but it's hard. I didn't bowl 15 years. I didn't bowl on that stuff. We just bowled on house patterns. So, these girls have an advantage because they bowled on this stuff. Liz, that's why she's still so good, because she was going overseas and bowling. Danielle McCune, Kelly Kulik, they kept in the bowling. I went, I didn't live at home. So I had responsibilities. So when the tour folded, it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I started going through my savings. I sold my motor home. Then I go, okay, well, hey, let's find a job. And I happened to see a commercial for America West, of loading and unloading planes. Well, guess what? That's what I did. I did that for a while. And then Mel said, why don't you come up here to Colorado? And I came up for a week. I brought my golf clubs and my bowling balls, and I moved the next week. And I said that, I've driven through Colorado for 25 years, never really got to see anything. And I finally did. And I said, God, this is gorgeous. And I've lived here now for 17 years.
Yeah, I was going to save this for later, but you went there with just the whole, ceasing of operations of the tour and everything. Just describe, you were one of the top players at the time, and still had a lot of wins ahead of you, in my opinion. What exactly did that do to you? Just from
It wasn't very good. I was depressed a lot. I want to retire on my own terms. It was like I got forced to retire. I think I was at my prime still. I think, as you said, I think there was a lot more wins. My goal was to be the woman to win the most tournaments in history. I'm still bowling, but it's still not it's not the same as being out there full time, like I was. I have a business to run. I have customers now that, rely on me to be there and to drill their equipment, even though I have a great staff that works for me. But still, it's more now that I'm on either side. I teach a lot. I work with the kids a lot. But it was very devastating for me. I don't know. I drank a lot. Not a good thing to do. Was very depressed. Didn't know what to do with myself. I always had, when the tour was there, I always had a goal. Hey, okay, here's my schedule. This is where I have to be. Got to be prepared. Got to get my bills paid. And then all of a sudden, nothing. And it was like, so then I moved from Los Angeles to Vegas, because I thought, well, maybe I can, bowl 5 gamers, 10 gamers, bowl some regionals, whatever. Moved there, started going to bowling centers and talking to people. That bowling just died. There wasn't pot games anymore. And he goes, Tish, we haven't had pot games in 2 years anymore. And I go, oh, well, what am I doing here now? I moved to Vegas because, there's always action going in Vegas. So then I was really depressed, because then I couldn't even bowl 5 gamers. And I wasn't even bowling league. That's how bad it was. So when my good friend Melanie McAllister, told me to come visit, and I did. And it was like a whole new fresh start. So I still work for America West. When I moved here, I just transferred. And then the PBA started that women's series, which was awesome. So I started that, and I got back into bowling. I started practicing more, and it changed my life moving here to get a better frame of mind. You know, in LA, we always had tournaments. Everything died when the tour folded. We didn't have WWE anymore, even though they were trying to, you know, get it started again. It was just that there was, you know, you did this for 25 years and now you're done. It was very devastating for me. It took about a year. And then I got into the pro shop business and I started going the other direction of not being just a bowler, being more of a business, the business side of it, working with the high school kids and, you know, doing that kind of stuff. That helped a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't really, you know, obviously we've had a lot of different people on the show, but, you know, for the most part, it's some of the younger players who, you know, people like Missy Parkin who, you know, she hadn't really even started her career yet, right? But you were on the top of the heap. And it's just really interesting to hear your perspective on it, because it's like if you were a lawyer and you were the best lawyer in the world and they just all of a sudden said, hey, there's not going to be any more lawsuits anymore, which would be great. But that lawyer would be like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Right. I mean, it's crazy to even. It was
really hard. I mean, it was like, you know, God, you know, I got up in the morning. That was my day. I go practice or I'd bowl league that night. And then when Jim Dressel's the one who called me and told me that the tour was folding. I was in bed sleeping because I didn't have to bowl till the later squad that day. And I go, you're kidding me. So he goes, no, John Summers just announced it. And I just laid in bed and I just went, oh my God. You know, and it started then. What am I going to do? What, you know, how is this going to work?
Yeah.
You know, I got to start thinking about what's my next move.
Right.
So,
well, you know, I guess these, you know, 15 years later, 20 years later, what has it been? 17 years now. 17 years later, you're still in bowling. So what was it about it that kept you in it?
I love it. I love the challenge. You know, you can throw 12 perfect shots and not shoot 300. You know, it's a challenge to me. It's
and that makes you love it.
It's, you know, you figure you're going to try to master it. You know, can I master this game? You'll never master it, no matter. I mean, you can be good at everything that you do, but bowling, it doesn't matter, because you can throw the ball the same way 12 times and you're not going to have a perfect game. You know, it's just going to set 10 pins back up and see if you can knock them down again. So bowling has always been a part of my life. And I don't think that it will ever, you know, the 1 year that was there that I didn't even want to bowl or do anything. You know, it was very hard. I mean, to something that you loved and enjoyed so much that I just didn't want to do it. I mean, it was just hard. And it is. I hope I'm bowling when I'm 80. Bowling with the seniors, my seniors, you know, I love my seniors. They're awesome. That I go, hey, I hope when I'm 80, I'm still bowling. So I love it. I love the challenge of it. I've grown up with all the different technology in the bowling balls over the years. I remember when they first came out with reactive resin, I must have drilled 40 bowling balls because I couldn't keep the ball on the left side of the head pin. I'm going, you know, I'm supposed to leave in 3 months to go out on tour, you know, because that was our time off. And I just keep drilling balls. I go, I'm up against the ball return. I can't get the ball to stay on the left side of the head pin. I go, what am I going to do here? You know, because I mean, I did at the time. I mean, I remember bowling in Houston when I was using a blue dot and I couldn't keep it on the left side of the head pin. And the righties are using sanded LT 48s. And I'm going, you know, that was my first tournament ever. And I was 257 under.
Sounds like a topography issue there.
Big Texan lanes in Houston. But
lanes are tilted this way.
I mean, horrible. And then I cried most of the way home, and my mom goes, "Sharon Johnson, suck it up. Either quit or figure it out." So I did. I went home and figured it out. But yeah, it's funny. Stories that I could say. I could write a book on the stuff on tour.
There
But
we
some
go.
people probably wouldn't like it.
No, I think it would be like the Harry Potter series. It'd be like 7 volumes, right?
Pretty close.
Year 1 through.
You know, living in a bowling center parking lot, you learn a lot.
Well, one chapter of this book I would like to learn a little bit more about. And you kind of referenced it a few times, kind of leading up to this about, you know, if you put your shoes on, you're going in there expecting to win. And, you know, a pretty big victory, 1996, the Super Hoinky Classic, $100,000 payday, 11 consecutive wins to get the title. You know, that was, you know, I think a lot of folks look at some of the, you know, accomplishments of Liz Johnson making the TV show in 2005. You know, obviously Kelly winning in 2010, but, you know, I think a lot of folks may overlook that moment as being one of those moments of breaking through. So, you know, obviously $100,000 is awesome, but, you know, what did that moment mean to you for essentially just showing the world how great female bowlers can be too?
Well, you know, I bowled that tournament 5 years prior to that, and I'd made enough money to break even or made a little bit above that. And Jason, you might remember Charlie Kinsler.
I do.
And yeah. Well, he was my sponsor at the time. He goes, well, you don't make enough money to go there. You know, you break even or you make $1,000 or whatever. I said, fine. I said, I'll put myself in. So I got there a week before that. The approaches are really slippery there. So I kept trying to get the soles right. So I go practice in the morning on the low end. Then I practice in the afternoon in the middle. And then I practice the high end at night. So I did that for a week. So I had a little bit, I took my notes and had them all written down, what pairs hooked more, which pairs were tighter, you know, where I could play here or whatever. So I would know. We didn't know what the pattern was going to be. Excuse me. So then I just did that for a week. And then, you know, a lot of my matches were close. Robert Smith, if he would have marked in the 10th frame, I would have been out. He goes big 4 in the 10th.
Wow.
I mean, I had a bowl Pat Healy. He missed a 10 pin.
Wow.
And I struck out to win. I mean, so a lot of the matches weren't, you know, they were close. It was a lot of fun to be the only woman that, you know, that's won it. I mean, Marsha Komorowski won it or finished second, a couple years after that or whatever. But it was the last match. I was bowling on the left lane. They were hooking so bad, and I was going around the ball return on the left lane and sending it and bowling normal on the right lane. And I ended up having to bowl this guy. I can't remember his name, but he was left-hander, but he was going straight up the boards and I was hooking the whole lane. And it was really nice, but I did make more than $100,000, but I won a sweeper and brackets, that kind of stuff. So of course, when I got back, Charlie Kinsler said, "Well, where's my share?" I said, "Dude, you didn't want to back me." I said, "This is my money." So he was pretty upset about that, but
that makes sense.
But you know Charlie, so
I do know Charlie, so this doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So, but it to where, you know, and then because I won it, and then being the only woman to win a Mega Buck tournament and to beat guys, you know, that was pretty awesome. And then when Kelly won, you know, everybody was, "Oh, the first woman to beat a guy." I said, "Well, not really." You know, I said, "No, I was the first one to beat a guy," but you know, it is what it is. You know, I know what I did and I know what I accomplished, and you know, it wasn't an easy road to win, you know, 11 matches in a row to do that. And I didn't bowl just peons. I bowled some of the pros. I got asked the next year, I got a letter written to me, asked me not to come back.
Huh.
So I didn't even get to defend my title. but that's okay.
What was the reason for that?
Well, because I was a pro, but they let the women pros bowl because I don't know, maybe they didn't think we would win or have a chance or whatever. It was no big deal. But I looked at some of those amateurs like Tim Mack and Chris Barnes at the time. They were making $400,000 a year, and they were considered amateurs. I go, really? So I just said, okay. And I was good with it. I won it. It's all that mattered to me. So,
Tish, I'm going to sneak the picture in here right now, just so you know. Heads up. From the
my God.
super pointy victory.
Wow. Hey, I'm young there. Can I go back to there? Yeah, but believe it or not, when I was going through the boxes, when I was telling you what I've been doing, during the pandemic, my trophy was broke. So I thought I had it pretty well packed up, but I guess not.
Is it like a Pete Weber U.S. Open trophy broke, or is it just like one of the wings is you can super?
No, it broke.
Oh,
it's all in.
Bad.
Yeah.
That's
so
too bad.
I have the base of it, but that's about it.
We got the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we make a big frame with the, and then
so they have it.
Then the pieces of the eagle right under the picture. So oh, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Okay, I was gonna just say what gets you out of bed in the morning these days? What is it that you're looking to accomplish from a bowling standpoint? I know you talked about coaching and all these people that you're helping. I know that's probably part of it, but from a competitive standpoint as well, what is it you're looking to add to your trophy room?
I want to win the Queens. That's the only thing on my bucket list that I have not achieved. I've made a few shows. If I could ever get winning the first match and moving on to the second match instead of losing, all the shows that I've ever made for the Queens has always been from the losers bracket. And
why do you think that is? Is it just something about the luck, or
it's me. I bowl better the longer I go. I get more in a rhythm. I get more in a zone, I would say. It's I think that's probably most of it. It's like, if I could get through the first couple matches and get on a roll, it's me of stopping and going and stopping and going. And, if you win a match, then then you don't bowl again for another 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I get lazy. I don't get, I don't have the draw. I don't think it's, you always get pumped up to bowl. And then when you have to sit, and then it's like, then you have to relax, and then you have to get pumped up again. I'd rather just continue going.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't seem to be a problem in the senior Queens, though.
I was going to say at the 2018 event, you didn't worry about losing anything. That was one of the most dominant performances I've been able to witness on the Bowl TV side. And obviously, from I think you averaged 235 in qualifying, like about 240 in match play, top overall seed, and then you just dropped like 9 out of the first 10 strikes on Jeannie to shoot 260 to win that title. What was it? We kind of talked about, the stretch of winning 3 in a row. I know how important that title was to you. Just having that type of dominant week to win the senior Queens, just and finally get that first tiara. Just what was that moment like for you?
It was great. Again, my family was there. It's always good to win a tournament. Everybody was, I led it so many times and then not winning. Robin beat me, it was just finally good to get it off my back, even though, it would be nice to wear the youngsters tiara, but I got my senior one. So now that would be, if I win the Queens, then I can say, hey, I've won them both.
Get that match
I'm never going to give up. I'm going to continue. But it was good. You know, I always think if you're in a rhythm and you feel good about what you're doing, and I think I just made all the right moves, the right time, was a little bit more focused, because that's the only, the seniors, that's the only tournament that we really have. We have the Golden Ladies and the Senior Queens. We used to have the Senior US Open. So, I mean, you always want to win, no matter what you do. I think. That's me.
Who are some of the players that maybe had your number, and then vice versa? Who are the players that you look forward to bowling? I'm excited to hear the answer now.
I mean, Wendy. I think Wendy. Well, actually, Michelle Fellman had my number for a while during match play, and then I mean, she'd shoot big scores at me. I mean, it wasn't like I shot bad scores. I mean, I shoot 240, she shoot 270, I shoot 260, she shoots 280. So one day we were bowling match play, and she I think just shot 240. And then she comes over to bowl me, and I said, I'm going to try something different. So I said, Michelle, where are you playing? Because Michelle she just gets up on the approach and goes, right? She goes, oh. Well, then she started thinking. That's the first time I beat her in match play. Because then she was trying to pay attention of where she was playing. So Michelle had my number for a while. Alita and I had some pretty good matches. Winnie McPherson and I had some back and forth matches. I mean, I don't know what the percentage are, but I mean, it was like, who'd I enjoy bowling? Probably Leanne.
Was that because you kind of knew that you guys were neck and neck for all-time most titles, and you wanted to, one up each other, or was it just, you just enjoyed bowling against each other?
I think it was just, bowling against each other. I think we were both really sincere. It wasn't like, being, fakey. It was always very sincere. I mean, I love Leanne's dad, and Leanne, I mean, how can you go wrong? I mean, we've bowled together, won the gold together. I mean, it's always, we should have won the gold in Germany, but we got beat. But I mean, I don't know, we always had fun. It wasn't like, and we still do things together. And it's, you have your friends, when we got done bowling out on tour, we'd all go in the bar, put tables together and talk and play darts or pool or get up and do karaoke or whatever it may be. It's different now. We were more of a family, I would say. To where now, you have this group over here and you have this group over here. And, it's not as we were, I should say. It's more of a business to them, I think, now. Would you assume that? It's more of a job. I think we always try to have it to where it was fun. It wasn't, everybody, you still have a winner and you still have a loser. But it seemed like once the tournament was over, everybody just got together and still had a good time. I mean, we would go to baseball games and, stuff like that, and just have a good time. Play golf. A whole bunch of us would go play golf. So that's about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I have to ask, while we're on this particular tangent, who was the best karaoke singer?
I didn't think you were going to go there.
And B, did you sing karaoke? What was your song?
Oh God, no. We had a talent show, and we had a talent show one year, and I stood up there and didn't do anything. We were supposed to sing, and I just stood there like a mummy. No, I did not do karaoke. Dee Dee was pretty good. Cheryl Daniels was really good. Carolyn, and Kathy, they did a lot. Tammy Turner. Yeah. But no,
right.
Tish Johnson did not sing.
I'm surprised.
I sing in my shower and my car. Nobody can hear me. My windows are rolled up and I can I want.
That's surprising.
Why?
Well, you're just such an outgoing person. I would think you'd want to get up and sing in front of people.
Oh no. You know, the bad thing, Jason, is if I have to give a speech and I write it down, that's the worst thing for me. If I can just wing it, it's better off for me. If I have to, when I got the Alberta award, we were late getting there, and then they stopped everything and made me walk up the middle, and then I got up there to give my speech, and about a quarter through it, I missed it, and I went, "Oh, that's it, folks."
I'm done.
Because I tried to find my spot again, and it was like, nope. I guess we're good.
I think I have a picture. I want to bring it up. Aaron, you can ask another question, but I'm gonna show a picture here in a minute.
All right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now, Tish, throughout the course of this podcast, we've talked, or you've brought up your family a lot, and I know when we're out at the events in Vegas, we see Rex, a few other folks out there. Just what does family mean to you? And you mentioned getting to share some of those victories with family. Just how important is it for you to be able to spend those moments with family? Well,
as bowling out on tour, missing one tournament in 25 years. Oh my God, take that down.
You were talking about like deer in the headlights, right?
Pretty much. I missed a lot of stuff with my family. Missed my brother's graduation. Missed my brother's wedding. Family means a lot to me. You probably could ask Rex anything. He probably could tell you what ball I threw, where was I playing, who was I bowling against, what I shot. I mean, my brother he's always been there when I bowl and, been a part of it. He's an encyclopedia when it comes to my bowling. It's just, life's too short. Your family is everything. My dad and I have our differences, but he's still my dad. My mom, I love her to death. My brothers, I don't see my older brother. I haven't seen him in over 30 years. I see my sister every time I go to Vegas, and my other brother lives there now too. Almost my whole family lives in Vegas. I leave Vegas, they move to Vegas. How's that?
That works sometimes.
So, yep. But family's everything. Your family is whoever's close to you. I've got some really good friends here that I consider part of my family. But you only have one family. So it's just whoever you're with. So
absolutely. All right.
I have an interesting question. I hate to be the guy that always goes back to the lefties thing, but I'm curious why there aren't more lefties on tour now. I don't understand.
Do you really want to get involved?
What's your theory on that? I'm curious.
Yeah. Okay. My theory on that is that, number one, we bowl on fresh every squad. Okay. Even when I was out on tour, we might have had 10 lefties, maybe. And it depends on where we were. Maybe we'd have a little bit more or a little bit less. But when you're bowling on fresh all the time, we don't have a chance to break it down. The righties, there's more righties on a pair. So if you have 4 righties on a pair, they're going to break it down a lot faster. We're never going to break it down. So it either is going to be good for us or it's going to be bad for us. And the way the patterns are, they're a lot more flatter patterns, right? Would you take that as yes?
Yeah, they're definitely not. There's not a lot of shape to them for sure. Okay,
so now being that way, we never with the surface that the righties use on their bowling balls, and you see it all the time, surface, surface, surface. Well, if you get 15 minutes of practice, you have now taken that shot that would maybe started like this, and as they bowl, now it starts to open up. And then they can move left and wheel it, right? Well, we can't move right because now we'll be laying it down in theirs. I've always thought with the way that the way the machines work now, they can't change the pattern left to right or right to left. Okay, you can't blend it that way, but you can blend it by the way the pattern's going. You can change it this way and this way, but you can't change it this way, right?
Yeah.
So if I would always like to see one time have a tournament where after you bowl the first 8 games, because then we bowl 8 games, right? Then we come back and bowl 8 more, right? And then they cut the field. Well, if you have 8 games straight, the righties, as it goes on, it's just going to open up more. But take a graph after the first 8 games and then see how it opens up on the right and start it that way on the left. Because you can go this way with the volume, but you can't change the volume this way. I just think that we don't have enough. We don't have enough to break it down. Do you think
there are a lot of lefties that are avoiding bowling on tour because of that, or they're just because I'm wondering if there's just fewer lefties in general. Is there some, do you see a lot of lefty junior bowlers in your area, and then there's just not that same?
Some. Yeah, there's some. But the thing of it is, you look at the PBA. The PBA's having the same problem. Yeah, the lefties aren't. It's the same thing. Ryan's retiring. You've got. It's just. I think it's the new patterns, the new volume. There's not enough of us to break it down. Maybe if there was a left-hander that had Jason Belmonte's red rate or EJ Tackett's, they might be able to blow it up a little bit more. But there's not enough of us to blow it up. There's not enough of us to open the shot up enough. I just think that with all the technology that we're doing, there's got to be a way that we can. I don't want to wall China either. But I just think it could be fairer by trying different things.
I would think that would probably be one of your biggest pet peeves is when you win a tournament, someone would just say, well, the only reason you won is because you're left-handed and they're easy, right? But that's ridiculous. You can't fault the bowler for taking advantage of conditions. But I just thought it was interesting because I did think for a while on the PBA Tour that lefties were going to go extinct until they started using urethane. And then you saw a little bit of a crop of lefties come around. But, on the women's side, that urethane's not an answer, really, right?
No.
So, I just thought it was interesting. You would think because, on the women's tour, the players don't get as far left to where they're, affecting where the left-handers lay down is. You'd have more lefties, out on the women's tour than you would on the men's tour. And it just doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, if you look, okay, so the tour's been back up since what? When did we go back? 15?
Yeah, since 15.
Okay, so in 5 years, if you look at how many tournaments have been won by lefties and how many tournaments have been won by righties, and look at the ratio. The whole thing about it is that that's why this year I had a plan and I had a goal. That I was going to practice and I was going to be better. And so I started setting up some shots and really trying to work on it, trying to get the ball to go straighter through the heads and get it straighter through the lane. Because I don't not like making finals. I'm not a person that I'm not a person that likes to sit on the sidelines. I always figure there's a way, but it's hard as and I think that's a lot of the problem. I think that a lot of the problem, the girls don't want to come out there because one, it's a zip in, zip out, right? Okay, what am I going to find to do? Some of the girls, they give clinics or whatever to, take up their time. The 1 year it was hard flying in and out for me. I left balls on the truck. I had balls in Vegas so that I, could do that. I had a business to run. But I think a lot of them are scared because there isn't a lot of lefties that are winning, or even on the PBA. I think there's got to be, with all this technology, that we can try to make it a little bit more even. Because when the shots are flatter, the righties are just going to dominate because they're going to open up the lane. We never have a chance to open up the lane. If we have this, but sometimes it's good. If you have that, you should be good. But the thing of it is too, then you have problems with carrying or whatever, and then you start getting frustrated or whatever it may be. But I think we should try to do some technology of trying to figure out if you have a tournament, you have 80 bowlers and 70 of them are righties. What are our chances?
Yeah, I mean, it should be 1 in 8, right?
Yeah. So I mean, but you're getting maybe 1 or 2 to make, the top 16 or whatever it is, and or I mean, it's just we have a lot of them. We still, I mean, Alita retired and Dee Dee retired, but I mean, you still have some. You got Shannon Pulowski, myself, Sherry Tans.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some that I was talking to that were going to bowl a couple of the stops that bowled WW. Dara Streets. There's a whole bunch. I just think they're scared. You're talking a lot of money. You're talking about $1,500, not a lot, but you're talking $1,500 a week. You got hotel, rent a car, or flying, or whatever. And then, what are my chances? What are my chances of winning? I mean, I put my shoes on expecting to win. So when I was struggling, then I said I was going to give it one more year of the PWBA, and then I would bowl the senior 50 stuff. So that's why I was really working hard this year. And then we get the pandemic and everything goes up and down like a roller coaster.
Right.
So, next year it starts up.
I just thought it was an interesting, I know you had an opinion on it, and I was interested to hear what it was, but promise no more lefty questions.
All right.
But I mean, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, since JT likes throwing out the tough questions like that, I do have one for you, and please feel free to say yourself for this answer as well. But competing 80s, 90s, 2000s today, you've gotten to see a lot of great competitors over the course of that span. In your opinion, who is the greatest female bowler of all time?
There's a lot of greats. It depends on the era. It depends on, the situation. I mean, I think I'm one of the best. I think Leanne's one of the best. I think Wendy McPherson's one of the best. I think Alita's one of the best. Lisa Wagner. I mean, it depends of the era. I mean, Liz Johnson, Kelly Kulik. I mean, there's a time and a place of every situation. Bowler of the decades, whatever it may be. It's just, there's too many but I believe that I am one of them. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot other. I mean, you got Donna Adamick, Pat Costello. It's all in the eras of when they bowl. The all-time, I can't say that, but there's a lot of talented women bowlers in the past, the present, and the future.
All right, I'm going to take a second stab at this question because that was a fair answer. I don't fault you for that.
Sounds like a Michael Jordan answer. He never answers that question.
We kind of talked about, a little bit earlier that, sometimes, with the gap of the tour not being there for a couple of years, it's, some players kind of get lost behind in what they accomplished. Who's kind of the most underrated player you feel from the 80s, 90s who doesn't get the recognition they deserve for being as great as they were?
I don't know. I would say, the 80s and 90s, or when the tour folded?
80s,
Kelly.
80s to 2000s. Let's go that one.
Okay. I think Kelly Kulick, was just coming out and was becoming really, really good, and the tour folded. Not saying that she's not bowling good now, but I think she would have won a lot of titles. I really do. I think. Let's see. Who else? Tennille Grahava. Well, I call her T, but anyway, when the tour, she was just coming out. I think she was underrated. Tiffany Stambros, tour folded. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if she's bowling anymore. I know that she's doing a grooming, pet grooming shop that she has, but I don't even know if she's bowling anymore. I think it hurt a lot of people when the tour folded. The ones that kept going, like the Liz and the Kelly and the, those people, they went overseas and did a lot of good over there. But, I think if I would have continued with or learning the new technology, I know a lot about bowling balls, but, with patterns and stuff of, once we oiled the lanes in the morning, that was it. We were done. You had to learn how to move. You had to adjust. Being left-handed, Jason, no, we didn't have to move as much. So if we had it, we had the nuts. And, I used to play when I was younger. I used to play in a lot and had to learn how to play out because they started moving the shot out. And I was getting frustrated with that. And so my dad said, well, get out there and learn how to do it. So, everybody says, well, you love playing outside. I said, yeah, I do. Give me the half board, the one board, I'll kill you because I will. Because,
I think one of the things people miss on that is that, especially now with the technology, is if you're forced to play in a part of the lane that you maybe don't like, but yeah, you might like to play out, but you can play out in 100 different ways. And I think that's what people don't see. They just see you playing out and they assume, oh, well, she can just play out. That's just given to her. Whereas it's like, no, you don't know what she's really doing to be able to play out there and take advantage of it. It's
exactly.
Yeah. And that's what people miss about it.
There's been times that I've had my right foot in the gutter on the left side and playing the half a board. But it's the angle that you get to the pocket. So, you're looking at 8 swinging to 4 or whatever it is, but you still have to be accurate. You still have to be consistent. But when I was growing up, I played in a lot. And then when, and that's the new era as time goes on, they started moving it out more and I wasn't bowling as good. So then I would practice that and learn. And then I got really good at that too. I won the Super Hoinky. I won the U.S. Open playing 17. It's not that I can't play in, but, the thing of it is, too, is when you move the lefties and the righties in, the heads go in the front for the righties. Well, now, if I have to move, now I'm laying it down in their crap and then still trying to get the ball projected where I need to get it to go.
Yeah, and you don't have all the friction that they've created to throw it to.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the problem too. So, but I think as and technology is going to change more again. Now we don't have the weight holes. Can't have the weight holes now. So it's all dependent on what now you have to drill balls differently. Now manufacturers are making them differently to help compensate for not having a weight hole. We used to be able to put a weight hole and manipulate the way the ball rolls. Now you have to do it with other technology.
Well, Aaron, you think it's that time for the question?
I believe so. I think we're an hour 15 in. So we always like to end the show on a fun note, Tish. So, obviously folks are staying home a little bit more often. So we want to know, what are the Tish Johnson binge watch recommendations? What would you recommend the good folks out there be watching right now?
Watching? What, TV?
TV?
Yeah, it could
Netflix?
be anything. Could be anything.
Movies,
Books. Yeah. We got a bunch. We got a whole audience who wants to read your book just from this show. So I think that could be one of them.
You know what? I've been watching a lot of Netflix. Jessica Jones was a really good one. I just got finished watching that series. It's a little weird, but it was pretty neat. Of course, watch Bowl TV and see you guys and see, got you a plug.
Thank you. Yeah. There is a lot of stuff to watch on Bowl TV.
Oh yeah. I just think there's a lot of technology now on YouTube about bowling, if people really want to, learn stuff about bowling balls and why they react that way. And, you got the facility down there in Texas that if you get a chance, go there. It's awesome. I've been there a couple times, and the technology that they have, and, Rod Ross is good, and all the other coaches, and you can learn a lot from there too.
That is a great endorsement. I really love that. People should definitely binge watch the ITRC much more than they do.
They should use it. Yep. I'm telling you, if I lived in Texas, I'd be probably there every day.
Yeah.
Just to get better. Now that, I've been looking into, now they have Spectro, a portable one. I've been looking into that to bring it to our state and see if, it's not, Texas, 11 hours, 12 hours, I think, from where I live to you guys. But
yeah,
still, it's a ton. Yeah. I do it every year. I drive to Houston every year. So yeah, the companies now have great videos. Storms has some really good videos to learn from the technology and, why the balls are being made certain ways. And I just think I watch them all the time. YouTube videos. Of course, only in a pro shop, I always try to learn. I'm a Storm girl, Storm and Rotogrip. And, but, I have to drill balls for other people, like other companies. So technology, I have to learn. And so I watch YouTube a lot, or I get on the phone and I call, say, okay, I'm having a problem, help me out. Kevin Tabron's good with that, and Adam Ishman, and,
that's why you're great. You're still, somebody like you who's accomplished everything you've accomplished could very easily just say, I already know everything. I don't need to go on YouTube and look and learn about all this stuff. And here you are on YouTube.
I learn every day. If I wake up and I go to bed at night and I lay there and I said, did I learn something today? And that is my goal every time, every day. That if I learned something that day, it was a great day. Because you never can stop learning something. It doesn't matter what. Cutting a board, painting a wall, whatever. You always try to find tricks and things to learn. And if you don't learn something in a day, what good is that? Because I think I'm really good at bowling, but I learn something about bowling every single day.
Seems like a good place to finish, Mr. Smith.
I think so. Because we learned a lot today, so we had ourselves a great day.
We did. We're looking forward to that trophy room being done too.
Hey, when I get it done, I'll take a picture of it and send it to you guys.
Okay, perfect.
How's that?
Excellent.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It was fun, guys. I had a great time.
To leave some extra room in there for all the future trophies too.
Oh, I'll make some room, or I'll just add on.
There we go.
I'll add a second story, and then the
There you
whole
go.
upstairs will be my trophy room.
Fantastic. I love it. All right, Tish.
It's been a pleasure.
It has been, guys. It was awesome. Had a good time. But I could tell you a lot of. Maybe next time I see you.
Yeah, next time we'll have you on again. We can do volume 2.
There you go.
Exactly. This book will be written before it's all said and done.
I know. Everybody kept telling me, Tish, you need to write a book. I said, no. Because the stories I could tell you. I said I'd have to change a lot of the names around.
To protect the innocent.
Correct.
Or the guilty.
Oh,
Awesome, Tish. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
you bet. Now I get to get ready to go to my shop and hopefully drill some bowling balls. So
if you want to continue talking to Tish, just go see her at her shop.
there you go. T&M's Pro Shop. All right, guys. Have a good day.
All right, Tish. Yeah.
All right, you
see
too, Tish. Thanks again.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, JT.
Yeah, great message there at the end about learning something every day.
100%, yes.
That is as good as it gets. I mean, Tish she's a fun person. She's very intense. She can be very emotional sometimes. She'll tell it like it is, like she did on the show. I mean, I think we got a little bit of all of it, the whole entire personality. But at the end of the day, she is a winner. I mean, she is a champion. She was good at everything she's ever done, whether it was playing basketball or softball when she was a kid, to bowling on tour, and now having a successful business. When her main means of making a living was basically taken away from her. So just awesome perspective to be able to have her on the show today. And saw from all the comments that we got on the show how much people love Tish. So it's really cool to have her.
Absolutely. Just, you summed it up perfectly. Just one of the all-time greats the game has and will ever see. Tish Johnson, just phenomenal. You summed it up perfectly. I can't top that.
Oh, well,
so I'm not going to. But big thanks to Tish for joining us here on the PWBA podcast. We got a pretty busy week here on Bowl TV. Looking ahead tomorrow, a special edition of the Sport of Bowling show with Chad Murphy and a few folks from Luby Publishing. Obviously, the big news last Friday of USBC purchasing Bowlers Journal. So Keith Hamilton and Mike Minoza.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll be on the show along with guest panelists John Mark Manzione and Mike Flanagan. So that should be a great show. That'll be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Inside the OC on Thursday, myself and Matt Canzaro will be chatting with a 3-time Eagle winner, Anthony Pepe. And I know you got some excitement on Wednesday as well with Bowling Explained. I'll let you let the folks know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we're going to have Valerie Bercier on. We had her on the podcast a few weeks back, and I really enjoyed, basically the whole conversation. But one thing that I was really curious about was her business as a dietitian and how she helps bowlers. And so we're going to go into that on that show Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to kind of delving into that topic a little deeper with her because, as you know, Aaron, I'm in desperate need of a dietitian in my life.
You and I both, sir. You and I both. That show will be 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll wrap up the week with another edition of the 20 greatest seasons in professional women's bowling history. Robin Romeo's 1989, a 5-win campaign, U.S. Women's Open title in there as well. So looking forward to that. That'll be on Friday across the channels as well. So for that, I think we have concluded today's broadcast. A big thanks to everyone. Definitely had some great numbers. We appreciate all the comments and the chats across Facebook, YouTube, and Bowl TV. So everyone have a great rest of your Monday. Big thanks once again to Tish for joining us. For Jason Thomas, I'm Aaron Smith. Thanks again for joining us here on the PWBA podcast on Bowl TV, where bowling lives here. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you soon.